It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. It's the only daily boxing talk show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
Coming to you live from the Billy C Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calagione. It's time for the Billy C Show. Good morning, good day, good evening, whenever you're watching or listening. Hope you're doing all right today. And speaking of today, today's show is being brought to us in part by Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant, located on beautiful St. Simons Island in the state of Georgia. Check out the website, www.salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com, or give my man a call, 912-268-2328, 912-268-2328. Find out why I go all the way to St. Simons to get a decent slice of pizza. Today's show is also being brought to us in part by the Sea Palms Resort, also on St. Simons Island. The Sea Palms is your premier place to go when you want to go somewhere. Yeah. And speaking of going somewhere, how about for August 25th and 26th, when we'll be holding the next Billy C get-together at the Sea Palms. We're going to have some celebrities there, including former world champions Bobby Ches and Mike Weaver, and then we'll be adding some more, so stay tuned for that, as well as a little golf tournament, a meet and greet with some food. We will be showing the circus known as McGregor-Mayweather, and we'll let you be part of a filming of our next episode of Billy C's Boxing Revisited. We'll be showing that. So a lot of stuff going on. Don't miss it. Visit our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click on the Sea Palms banner and get your spot reserved today. And finally, today's show is being brought to us in part by my book, Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, is available right now, even while you're watching or listening to the show, by visiting barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com. Find out why everybody's loving this book. Find out why I'm so adamant about getting Tom Molyneux the recognition he deserves. Today's show, coming up a little bit later, we may have Alex Perpali stop by and give us his thoughts on the circus. But today's topic is simply this, from a boxing fan perspective. And I'm looking at this from a boxing fan, not MMA fan, not a casual contact sports fan, a boxing fan, a true boxing fan, like I consider myself, and most of you guys that are watching or listening to this show. Let's look at three major fights that are coming our way in the very near future, this year, as a matter of fact, that we need to look forward to. One is Triple G against Saul Canelo Alvarez. The other is Anthony Joshua, my man, going up against Vladimir Klitschko for the rematch. It hasn't been officially announced yet, but we all know it's going to be taking place sometime in November. And, of course, a fight taking place sooner than later, Terrence Crawford against Julius Indongo for a unification of the junior welterweight division. Three top-notch fights that are real fights, and I say that with a capital R, real fights that you really don't know the outcome. Should I even say 50-50 fights? Triple G Canelo, 50-50. If you would have asked me this 6 months ago, even a year, I would have said Triple G without a doubt. Now, I'm not too sure. Anthony Joshua, Klitschko, hey, in the first fight, both of them hit the deck, and Anthony Joshua was on the verge of being knocked out himself, only to come back and knock out Vladimir Klitschko. in one of the most exciting heavyweight fights I can remember in a very long time. And of course, Terrence Crawford, who's always exciting, a guy who can box and enjoys mixing it up against a guy that doesn't get much credit. But hey, Indongo's got not one but two of the junior welterweight belts. So really, we got three major fights coming our way that are all 50-50 fights. Joining me right now, the birthday boy. Yeah, my man Sal Rocky Senecola. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Sal.
Unbelievable. How'd you find that stat out?
Little birdie told me, but I'll tell you why. You thought I forgot about you today when I didn't say nothing.
Unbelievable.
You're like giving me hints, and I'm just rolling right through. And happy birthday.
Your trivia questions, and I didn't think you got them right. I was saying, what fighter that made a comeback after 25 years, 63 days? Birthday is tomorrow. It has the initials SC, Santa Claus.
Yeah, there you go.
One of the trivia questions, but you didn't give me the answer.
I tell you, the answer was Jack Dempsey.
It was, but it's not this time.
But no, I want to wish you a happy birthday. You finally hit 35. It's a big milestone for you. So, I hope you have a great day, my man. And for all you guys watching and listening out there, drop Sal an email and wish him a happy birthday, because when you get to be his age, you got to cherish every one, right, Sal?
Oh, hey, yo. Bill, every day is a journey in life, and that's what I love about life. That's a journey. It's a chapter. You write your autobiography every day. You develop a chapter, you open a chapter, you close a chapter, you start a new chapter. My life has been full of chapters. We're still writing strong.
I'll tell you what you've been full of. But maybe you should open up a book. Maybe read a chapter. Hey, speaking of those coffee mugs,
Still gotta start my cup. My book.
Speaking of coffee mugs, got several inquiries over the last week about obtaining one. So if anybody wants one of these custom-made, cutting up on Billy C mugs that Sal is stocking up on, drop him an email. You can get his email address up on our website, or you could just email me. Or, hey, what is your email address? Sal the Pie Guy, right, at Yahoo?
No, at gmail.com. Now offered with or without glasses.
Is it Gmail?
I'm a Gmail guy, yes. Sal the Pie Guy at gmail.com.
That's the way you read. That's the way you got. That's the way you got at that first chat. What did you go to the same reading class as Floyd Mayweather, or what? Come on, man.
That was another stab by Conor McGregor about Floyd's reading.
Hey, listen. Forget about them for a minute. But the topic today: three real fights coming up. Triple G Canelo. We know it hasn't been officially announced, but Anthony Joshua against Vladimir Klitschko. The rematch will be taking place sometime in November. It has to take place before the middle of December, I believe so. And then, of course, Terrence Crawford against Indongo for the unification of the junior welterweight division. First time we've had all those belts on the line. That event will actually be on ESPN. What's your thoughts on these three fights? As we're got to focus on real fights instead of circus acts.
Well, we do. I mean, a lot of it's just a rhetoric on this circus act, if you will. But I'm right now in the immediate future. I love summer and I like it to last for a long time. But man, I can't wait to see the Triple G Canelo Alvarez fight. I mean, that's the fight on my horizon that I'm very excited about. And you said it best before, Billy. If this was a year, maybe a year and a half ago, in my mind, it wouldn't be a contest. I'd say Triple G will dominate and tear apart Canelo Alvarez. However, there are things that evolved and changed a little bit. And I think, as you said, it's a 50-50 fight. I believe in my heart of hearts that I think Canelo Alvarez will put on a great performance, and I think he'll do a lot of things that we're gonna be saying the wow factor about. But ultimately, it may not be pretty, but I do expect Triple G to rise to the occasion and still win this fight.
Yeah, well,
that's just my seat of the pants kind of gut act instinct.
Well, Triple G,
I could be wrong, and we'll find out.
Triple G, he's been waiting for a big fight like this. Yeah. And, the truth of the matter is I personally think that Triple G is the best ring general in the sport of boxing. And that goes a long way besides just the active boxing, because I believe that he controls the ring better than any fighter controls the ring in the last decade at least, and that includes Floyd Mayweather. A lot of people think, he's a ring general, and rightfully so, because, here's a guy that obviously forces fighters to fight his fight, but Triple G kicks it up a notch above that. And what I mean by that is Triple G has a tendency to be in the spot where his opponent is trying to get away to. Like if the corner says his opponent, hey, move to your right, next thing you know, he moves to his right, boom, Triple G's there right there, and he says, okay, now I'll tell you what, I'll change that, move to your left. He goes to move to his left, boom, Triple G is there. Triple G definitely does that. Now, I got to admit that in his last couple of fights, he's been subpar, but at times, maybe it's hard for a guy, any fighter or any athlete that's at such a high level to get up for a fight. In this case, for a fight that isn't really getting him motivated. But apparently, he's extremely motivated for this fight. He's already started his training, which obviously so has Canelo. And Triple G said, I quote, Abel, meaning Abel Sanchez's trainer, has new ideas for this fight, exciting ideas, and I need to be my best to perform in the ring. I don't care about pound for pound. This is real. This is about being the champion of the world. The word exciting that he used seems to really spell it out for me 100%. He's excited about boxing again, and he's challenging himself with a guy in Canelo Alvarez that, despite his age and despite his last couple of performances, I think we will see the best Triple G, or at least the best Triple G that's available today. How much do you feel that being excited and being into a fight transpires into a performance?
Very much so, Bill. You hit it on the head. I mean, you're empowered, you're motivated, and you want to look good, you want to be good, you want to be flawless, and if you're not, you're still good enough to go out and give it your best. And with his training, there's no looking back. You got to be relentless in training, unyielding in battle, and that's how I believe he's going to approach this fight. And that's what I used to love to do, and see with the fervor and the excitement and the anticipation, and that you're going to approach every fight like it's your first fight with the enthusiasm, and also like it could be your last fight with the finality and the statement you want to leave in the game of boxing. So, when you do those things and you approach it like it's your first fight and like it could be your last fight, you know what? There's no turning back. There is no tomorrow. This is what you do, and this is how you do it. And you know what? Triple G, he may have looked subpar to what we're comparing his performance with his last two fights, but guess what? He was still in the ring with big, dominant, world-class fighters in their own right, champions, and he still managed to crush one eye socket and break up, and that fighter's never going to be the same. And he still outpointed and won a decision against a great boxer. So, let's let the cards be real and recognize that Triple G does what he has to do to win. He doesn't know what it's like to fail. And I think he's going to dissect and inject. I like that, dissect and inject. What he has to do to beat a Canelo Alvarez. And then on defense of Canelo Alvarez is also going to rise to the occasion. And he's going to put on a stellar performance. So this is going to be probably one of the greatest fights that we've seen in a long time.
Well, Canelo Alvarez, and I've said this, if I've said it once, I've said it almost as many times as your age and birthday, since it's your birthday. But the truth of the matter is this. Canelo Alvarez, although I like him, I don't like the way, he's become kind of diva-ish, but business, the way they say. The truth of the matter is that he's got a weakness that has not been corrected. And I think that weakness is his shot at beating Triple G. And that weakness is he's not efficient and effective. Let me rephrase that. I think he's more non-effective when he tries to land punches on the move. Now, granted, only great fighters that have good footwork and hand speed are effective on the move. But I believe that we've seen the fighters that can employ movement into the game against Triple G are somewhat effective. And, obviously Daniel Jacobs proved that. And Danny Jacobs, has got some pop. So does Canelo. And Triple G was forced to respect him. And the end result was he stifled Triple G's knockout streak. Canelo has his weakness of not being able to deliver his punches, at least effective punches, while he's on the move. He's got to basically lock himself in front, plant his feet like a textbook stance, and deliver his punches to be effective. When you look at any of Canelo's fights, it's always been like that. He's effective when he's in the pocket. He's standing there. If you open up the book of boxing and you see the textbook stance of how to hold your hands, how to plant your feet, that's Canelo. He's there, and he lets his hands go, and he's effective. But Triple G isn't the kind of fighter he's going to want to do that with, even though that's his strength, Canelo's strength. So I believe that the odds sway a little bit towards Triple G. Now, with that said, Canelo has improved. It seems that he's delivering his punches with even more power than he was. He's conditioned better. He's not running out of gas anymore. And the guy's got a lot of heart. And don't forget that he's got youth on his side, Sal. He's definitely younger. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Hold that thought. It's that time again. But hold that thought, because I want to continue with Triple G and Canelo. Because it not only can't I wait for the fight, but it's a great matchup. Don't go anywhere. Sal, happy birthday. We'll be back in
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks, like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. Come to Graze.com for your first box free.
If you or a loved one have had hernia repair surgery with mesh reinforcement and suffered infection, chronic pain, mesh migration, mesh failure, organ damage, or needed additional surgery, call the Rely On Group right now. You may be eligible to receive a cash award and compensation for your medical expenses. Your voice deserves to be heard. Call the Rely On Group to be connected with a personal injury attorney for a free consultation. Call 800-715-4869. It's 800-715-4869.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you!
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listening. Billy C Show. Glad you could be with us. And speaking of being with us, don't forget, we want you to be with us on August 25th and 26th for the next Billy C get-together. It will be taking place at the Sea Palms Resort in St. Simons Island, Georgia. What are we doing? A lot of stuff, man. We're going to have some celebs there. Like, how about former world champions Mike Weaver and Bobby Ches? We're going to have renowned trainer from Tampa, Sherman Henson. The infamous Jeremy C. is going to be there as well. And we will keep getting more names for you. We'll be doing a little golf tournament. We'll be doing a meet and greet. We'll be showing the circus known as McGregor-Mayweather. And we'll let you be part of the next filming of our next episode of Billy C's Boxing Revisited. All of that. Plus, we're going to truck on over to Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant so you guys could cause havoc in there. We're having a great time. Make sure you visit our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click on the Sea Palms and call them and get all your arrangements made. And speaking of Sal Rocky Senecola, he's with me right now, and it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Sal. Finally
Thank
hit.
you, Billy.
Finally
Thank
hit.
You, Billy.
I can't believe I hope. Oh God.
Sorry.
I hope I reach it to 85 years old one day. I really do.
Easy. I'm making my comeback at 85.
So before we went to break, we were talking about Triple G and Canelo.
Yes.
And Canelo. Canelo has come a long way, and he's gotten better. I mentioned that he still has that one weakness. But, many people believe that Triple G has slipped a notch as well. But I truly believe that this is a 50-50 fight, Sal. I mean, like I said in the beginning, I would have picked Triple G hands down if we were talking about this fight, 6 months, even a year ago. But now I'm not so sure. What do you think?
I think definitely that Canelo Alvarez is a different fighter, an improved fighter from when we saw him against Floyd Mayweather a couple of years ago. And I think that he is going to give everything he can give to try to beat Triple G. And I don't think these fighters are going to have to look too hard to find each other. And that's what's going to be exciting. They're both stay in a pocket exchange kind of fighters. And that's going to make this fight a one that, for all intents and purposes, may not see the last round. But like I said all along, I think Canelo Alvarez is going to do a great job. I think he's going to prove he's worthy of this opportunity, and I think they're both going to earn their money. But I do think that in the end, Triple G shall prevail. I think his experience, his thunderous punches, I think his way of as you said earlier, cutting off the ring and dictating his fight, not fighting Canelo's fight, I think is going to be a big factor. I just see him throwing these thunderous punches that Canelo has not been really used to receiving from an opponent at this time, and that's what's going to happen. I really feel it.
Yeah, well,
I feel Triple G's going to win. I feel Triple G's going to win, and I'd like to see the Las Vegas odds as we get closer to this fight. I know they're still changing on the Floyd Mayweather-Conor McGregor situation, but hey, you know what? It is what it is. This is a real fight we're talking about, Canelo Alvarez and Triple G, and it's going to be one of the biggest fights of this year, and I'm very excited about it. So
another big.
I think.
Go ahead, finish.
No, I think that we're going to look at the pure boxing fans, the purists out there, and the real boxing fans swarm to see this fight as a record attention getter, because this fight doesn't benefit from this fight.
No, boxing doesn't benefit from this fight at all. As a matter of fact, It hurts boxing.
Sets it back.
It hurts it big time, and it's a farce that it was even approved. The Nevada State Athletic Commission should be ashamed. They've lost all credibility in my eyes for sanctioning this fight. But anyway, I want to go back to, I don't want to talk about that. But how do we get on that?
Let's talk about real fights.
Yeah, we're talking about real fights.
Fights that are significant fights.
Triple G and Canelo. And then the next one I was talking about was Anthony Joshua against Vladimir Klitschko, the rematch. I mean, who could argue that the Klitschko AJ fight the first time around wasn't one of the most exciting heavyweight fights in a long time. I mean, it would be hard to argue that, and I would expect nothing less. It's going to be interesting to see if Anthony Joshua makes any adjustments in terms of being able to go a full 12 rounds without running out of gas. Does he jump all over Vladimir Klitschko early? Does Klitschko jump all over Anthony Joshua, seeing that he did have him in trouble the first time around? Klitschko did seem to want to bring him into deep waters. The plan almost worked for him, but the young gun and his power prevailed. I think that both camps could make some slight adjustments to have a better performance. And how great is that for the sport of boxing if AJ Klitschko 2 comes out to be a better fight than the first one?
Well, as long as it doesn't come out to be like a Ward Kovalev second one.
Well, yeah,
Sorry.
you know what? First of all, that's not. I'll tell you why that would never happen. Because you're dealing with two guys that are class acts. Yes, Klitschko is a guy that constantly wants and strives for the best deals he can get. He's a very good businessman and a hard negotiator. But at the end of the day, he's a real guy. Andre Ward is a diva, thinks he's bigger than he is, and he's not that big because no one's even heard of him. And as far as Sergey Kovalev, he turned out to be just a bully big mouth that doesn't back anything up. And that's not going to be the case with Anthony Joshua and Klitschko. And the reason is because they don't put their necks on the chopping block. They don't make promises that they can't keep. They don't deliver packages that weren't supposed to be delivered. I don't know. Maybe I went too far with that one. But anyway, you get my point, Sal.
I got the drift and I got the point. And no, I know that. I just threw that out because it was there for the taking. But the bottom line is, no, this is going to be a good fight. And, it's so funny because we were talking about this during the fight. I mean, as far as what the likelihood of a rematch might be. And, if it was, we thought if it was just going to go to a decision, it would validate a rematch. But ending in a knockout, we had to sell it to ourselves. And, it's going to be something that the fans are still going to want to see because it did, like I said, going into that 8th round, Billy C., I had the fight a draw, pretty much a draw. And or maybe Kovalev up one point. I forgot. I got to look at my old scorecard. But I think it was pretty much an even fight going into that going into the 9th round. And, of course, after that, I think I gave Joshua the 9th and the 10th, and ultimately the 11th was too far for him to recover after those shots.
You meant
one thing he's going to have to do is block that uppercut.
You said Kovalev, but you meant Klitschko, right?
I meant Klitschko.
Right.
Okay.
And
sorry,
no, I know, but some of these boxing fans are, they jump all over you when you make a mistake. But the truth of the matter is we both had the fight even going in. I'm looking forward to that one, and of course, Terence Crawford against Indongo.
Yes.
Indongo is a fighter that's got 2 belts, and Terence Crawford's got 2 belts. That equals 4, and they're all going to be on the line. And, it'll be the first full unification fight in any weight class in quite some time with the 4 major sanctioning bodies all involved. And this is, we touched on it a little bit yesterday, but this is the type of thing that you want to see from fighters to clean out a division before they move up. Too often today, fighters are forced to move up. And, or for whatever reason, whether there's more money or lucrative fights up at a higher weight class. But, even fans, they should move up. Well, until they clean out a division, what have they accomplished? I mean, we're losing sight of what this sport, what the prize is. The prize is, dominating your opponent, dominating your division. It used to be obtaining a world title, but now, we get world titles like a kid gets a participation trophy in Little League. So I mean, the value of the titles have diminished. But at the end of the day, if you dominate your division and you fight everyone that's available to you in your division and beat them all, that's cleaning up a division. Then you move up and seek out other challenges in a division above. That is what it appears that Terence Crawford will do, and if he wins, or Indongo, same situation. They're both in the same situation. Obviously, Indongo is the underdog here, but I think Terrence Crawford is one of those special kinds of fighters. Not only does he display the boxing skill, the sweet science, if you will, but he also loves to exchange, and he breaks down his opponents. Then he's right in that pocket, and he's an entertaining guy to watch, Sal.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great fight. Like I said, we've had a good year of boxing, good solid fights this year so far, and I think we're going to finish out the year. And you forgot to mention one other fight that I think will occur before the end of the year, whether we know it or not. I think it's probably being discussed right now, and I think one of the best ways to close out the year with a signature might be closing out a career would be a rematch between Manny Pacquiao and Jeff Horn.
Well, that fight is going to take place. It appears that, Manny Pacquiao wants that fight. We'll wait and see what happens with that. It looks like that's going to definitely take place. And speaking of which, we were talking about that fight. I got some stuff to just add about the Joshua Klitschko rematch.
Yes, go ahead.
First,
that's
before we take a break. Well, no, Pacquiao, Jeff Horn, I got some updates as well. But as far as Anthony Joshua and Klitschko, there's rumor that fight could end up in Las Vegas. And, the thing that as much as I would like to see the fight here in the States, I think we would lose some of the factors that made the first fight so great. And that was the fact that there was 90,000 people in attendance to watch it live in London. I thought that brought something to the fight. And I would like to see that again, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'd want to see it in Vegas. When they move to these smaller venues, what that means is they're shooting for the dollars with the pay-per-view. But as far as the excitement level, how can you type 90,000 people in live?
No, it's hard to beat that, Bill. And like I said, there will be trade-offs if they do bring it here to the States. And, obviously it's going to be Anthony Joshua fighting away from his backyard. And, hopefully we'll have 3 international judges, and we'll see. If not that it's going to even go to the scorecards. But, it's going to be it'd be good to see. I could see Vegas doing this kind of fight and holding it up to where it deserves to be in the upper ranks. And I think the fans out there will turn out and will be boisterous and will be passionate about seeing their guy win. And I think there'll be a huge contingency of people from Great Britain that would be coming over to watch Anthony Joshua fight. And so you'll see. There'll be some good action from the fans as well as from the fighters.
No doubt. Hey, Sal, hold that thought. We are going to take another short break here, like we are required to. So don't go nowhere. We will be back in about 2.
Billy C will be right back.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks. Like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listening to the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us. And don't forget, August 25th, 26th, Billy C. boxing event. Check it out. Make your reservations now. Visit our website, BillyCBoxing.com, and click on the CPOMs banner. And make sure you come on down and join us. We're going to have a great time. We got some emails to read. Sal, ready?
Okay. And don't forget how you never forget that name of the resort.
CPOMs.
CPOMs.
Yeah,
See?
well, I said CPOMs.
Okay.
You know?
CPOMs. I know. Well, you can never forget it.
Why don't you suggest them changing their logo to your dirty old hands?
Yeah, why should we keep the logo on it? Well, I don't. You know what? Well, we won't talk about that. Go ahead.
It is Sal's birthday today, so send all the presents and checks and everything to me, and I'll make sure that I get them to him. Just make out the checks to me,
allocate them,
and I will make sure he gets them. Just send cash to me, and I'll make sure Sal gets a portion of it. But anyway.
Wait. As a manager, you're allowed 33 1/3.
Yeah, but what about? But then I'll put my promoter hat on, and I'll get another 33,
25.
Yeah,
and your trainer.
Yeah, then I'll throw that hat on. I got a whole box of hats. You'll be owing me money. Come on. That's the way it works. And if you're watching Sal drink out of one of his custom Billy C mugs, you too can own one. Just drop Sal an email, and he'll be glad to get one out. He's got a whole inventory full of them, custom made. They're all different. But anyway, Jeremy C wants one of those, man. We also have the sparring partner version, which if I could hollow his head, we could drink out of the skull. Yeah, that's a pretty good concept, huh? Yeah, that's a good one. That'll get people into boxing. Yeah, that's a good one. But anyway, we got some emails. This first one is from Jesse, and here's Jeremy C. Speaking of Jeremy C. He's in the chat room. He's in the chat room. He's telling me not to roll my eyes as I'm reading him because I get, when the camera's on, I forget, when I read something, I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, But Jeremy C., he has a way of getting himself heard. So he says, referring to the McGregor-Mayweather farce, he says it's going to be the best boxing match of all time. Not even close. But I think it's going to be a good fight, and it's going to be huge and entertaining as hell. The truth of the matter is, listen, Jeremy C. is an important part of this show. As a producer, a knowledgeable guy, one of the best as far as I'm concerned. But the truth of the matter is, he don't know a left hook from a fish hook. So, as far as his boxing opinions, they're worth zilch. They're worth nothing. The best fight. Come on, man. All he's happy about, listen, he's a Howard Stern fan. So he watches these pressers and he sees it as a Howard Stern finagling smokescreen BS. I happen to have glanced at some of it yesterday with the, it's all set up. It's all set up. Everything is set up. I swear. Mayweather leaves his little bag there when he wraps himself in the Irish flag, so McGregor can go over and show that there's only $5,000 cash in there. He goes over to Steve. The best thing that Conor McGregor did was that he goes over and starts going, well, look at us weaselly looking. He's talking about Steven Espinosa. And listen, Steven Espinosa, the bigwig of Showtime, he's got that look that, ladies with children, and they see him, they just grab onto their kid. He looks like a very bad type of a guy.
Careful,
Let's just say that. He does. He's another guy that doesn't know a left hook from Jeremy C. knows more about boxing than Steven Espinosa. But it's a circus, and it doesn't surprise me that Jeremy is liking it. But anyway, let's read an email from a boxing fan. My man Jesse says, hey, Billy C. and Sal. What's your thoughts on Roger Gutierrez, who fights this Friday on Estrella TV? Gutierrez is a 22-year-old junior lightweight. He's undefeated, 15-0 with a draw with 12 knockouts. He's only fought 43 total rounds in those 16 fights. He's 5'9". Here's the stat on him. He's fighting Rene Alvarado. And when you look at his record, and I'm talking about Gutierrez, of his 16 fights, only four were against guys with winning records, and of those four, one guy had a 31-29-4 record, so he's barely a winning record, and the other guy was 1-0. The only other two was a 5-3 guy, and by far the best record on his whole resume of 16 fights was a 7-1 guy. And by the way, his draw was against an 0-1 fighter. You got 16 fights and only 4 against winning opposition. He's in a real fight Friday night, Jesse. He's taking on Rene Alvarado. Although Alvarado has lost 4 of his last 7 fights, he's been in there with some tough opposition. He, too, is not that old. He's in his late 20s, been around. I was ringside for his fight against Gamboa, and a lot of people thought that he should have gotten the nod in that fight despite losing a unanimous decision. I can't see Gutierrez, they call him the Kid. I can't see him beating Alvarado. I'm sorry. I can't see him beating Rene Alvarado. If he does, it'll be a huge step up in opposition. I think this is a tough fight for Roger Gutierrez. Now, we'll be breaking down and giving you our official predictions tomorrow. But Rene Alvarado is going to be a tough hill for Gutierrez to climb. He says, will the Ivan Barancek against Keenan Smith fight be a good one? Will it be entertaining? Do you think that card is considered good? That fight I think it'll be entertaining. Barancek is 16-0. He's 24 years old. He's ranked number 34 by the computer. His last 6 fights have all been against above average opposition, or at least good opposition. When he steps in there with Keenan Smith, he's 11-0, similar in age, 26, but the computer has him substantially lower in the rankings, have him at 106. And he's fought more of a carefully selected group of fighters. And that's typically what you have nowadays with the American fighters. The fighters that come in from outside the U.S. are tougher, stronger, better. They've faced better opposition. And we've gotten calculated, carefully moved, kid glove type fighters. Will it be a good fight? I think it's going to be a good fight for Barancek. That's what I think. But interesting email. What do you think, Sal?
Yeah, I think it's a very good email. Very good email. Way to go.
Very good. Very good email.
Very good.
I hope Sal listened. I hope Sal listened to some of it. That's all I did.
I listened to all of it.
But anyway, another email here. This one's from my man Mitch. He says, "Hey Billy C, there's only one A side on this fight." He's referring to Mayweather-McGregor. He says, "This is the first time Mayweather has been the B side since the De La Hoya fight. The A side, it's not McGregor, it's the IRS." He says, "Sorry, Floyd, you're the B side in this one." And he goes on to say,
listening.
Floyd, it was released yesterday, Floyd has another $7.2 million tax lien from his 2010 taxes on file, which has been reported. And this is in addition to the 20-something million he owes for the 2015. Team Mayweather, Sal, says that it's better for them to drag their feet and pay the penalties and interest because of all the investments and the capital they're making on those investments versus the IRS. My attitude on that is you don't want the IRS in your face. I disagree with that. What's your thoughts?
Well, it depends. I mean, you've got income tax and you've got capital gains tax. You got a lot of tax coming out of this bite. And the bottom line is we don't know his investment portfolio. We don't know what he's doing as far as taking income versus capital gains and 100% of this and that and everything else. So I hope and I would think that he would be amassing a team of strong accountants, maybe even former IRS accountants, and trying to formulate the best route to drive down as far as buying some time, waiting for this fight, waiting for the pay, and allocating the monies accordingly. So, you know what? Maybe he's better off right now biting a bullet and just taking some penalties and taking some interest accruing and taking care of it right after this fight. That would be it. At least till October 15th at the last of the year, the last quarter. So I think he should settle all debts by October 15th. Make that his goal. And square away. I see that being a good goal.
That's the.
If I was his advisor.
The end of October is the third quarter.
What I'm saying is October 15th. That would be the time to make this thing happen and make it real and make it good. Yes.
Well, the same thing's gonna listen. If you follow his MO with the tax problems, and it goes all the way back to 2000 or 2001. He's done the same thing over and over and over. He drags his feet and he doesn't pay. My problem with this is that, Floyd Mayweather is a lot like Donald Trump, President Trump. And what I mean by this is that President Trump, the knock on him, well, many knocks, but one of the knocks on him is that this is a guy that was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. This was a guy that nobody's ever said no to. This is a guy that's not used to having people disagree with him because he's surrounded by yes men, and he's lived his whole life as that. Now he's in a position of the president of the United States, and he's wondering why people aren't jumping and, washing his feet and listening to everything he says and agree with him. And that's the biggest problem that Donald Trump has. Well, guess what? Floyd Mayweather is the exact same. Floyd Mayweather, contrary to what he tries to make it seem like he came from the streets, he was born. No, he did not. Floyd Mayweather was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. In case y'all forgot. Another reference to another reference to Roy Jones's song. In case y'all forgot, Mayweather, his father, despite having his own demons with alcohol and drugs, was a pretty successful fighter. And as a matter of fact, I think that if there was a time machine and you could go back and put Floyd Mayweather Sr. against Floyd Mayweather Jr., both in their prime in the ring, Floyd Mayweather Sr. kicks his ass because Floyd Mayweather Sr. had the same defensive skill, but guess what? He had more pop in his hands than Floyd does, than Jr. does. So, and he wasn't a good father, but he was a good provider. So Floyd never did without as a kid, all right? And then once Floyd made it on his own and became Money Mayweather, he too, like Donald Trump, is surrounded by yes men. Nobody says no to Floyd. Floyd says, you do this, and they go, yes, 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 because they're getting all their money. So finally, you got a guy that is dealing with IRS issues, and he feels that he doesn't have to pay the IRS on time like the rest of us does, that he's better off than the rest of us are, that he doesn't have to abide by the same rules that the rest of us do. You could see, we're not allowed to beat up women. Floyd thinks he can. We're not allowed to beat up pimply face security guards. Floyd thinks he can. Floyd thinks he can do whatever he wants. And unfortunately, governing situations like the Nevada State Athletic Commission let him get away with it. So no, the situation that we see with Floyd and his tax problems aren't going to go away. As a matter of fact, at the end of the day, the IRS is going to be the first person, first group, first guy, whatever you want to look at, to beat Floyd Mayweather. I'm telling you, that's going to happen. Floyd Mayweather is not going to live out his life in the luxury that he is now, Sal. He's going to end up broke just like the rest of them.
Well, you know what? You make a good case for that. I mean, many times what a lot of fighters make the mistake of doing is living the lifestyle that they can and they afford to do while they're accruing their masses of wealth during their money-producing years. And later on, unless they have another opportunity to parlay their success into a money-making situation, it's not going to last. It's going to dissipate faster than they can imagine, and they're going to wind up having to declare bankruptcy and look for other ways to make income. It's a shame, but now is the time he needs to start really looking, and he should have been all along, of what to put away for the days when he's not going to be fighting.
Well, the other thing too, and again, I speak from experience, unfortunately. The other thing too is the fact that once the IRS is latched onto you, they're like a pit bull. They don't let go. And with the simple fact that even assuming Floyd pays it off, which he will, they're going to keep flagging him. They're going to keep looking at him. They're going to keep having Floyd Mayweather and all of his financial situations, his investments, etc., under the microscope. And, if I'm Floyd, I don't want them looking at me. I want to be left alone. If I'm Floyd, I pay a good accountant to make sure that all my taxes are paid on time and I have them off my back. But if Floyd was smart, he would do that. But that's the thing. He's not smart. He's not. Everybody thinks he is, but he's not. I hate to say it, but it's the truth, Sal.
Well, you know what? Hopefully he can learn by this, and that's why I said make that date, October 15th. That's a good date to shoot for. Have all your ducks in a row, have your team amassed and settled, and go forward from there. But settle up all obligations to the IRS and whoever else you owe October 15th, and then go from there. Start a clean slate, and they'll let him do it. Once they're paid, they will give him an opportunity. They'll look and they'll flag him, if he gives them reason to. But, he can start clean, but he's got to have the team that's going to help him.
Jumping out of the Floyd BS, we were talking about, you mentioned Manny Pacquiao with the rematch of Jeff Horn. And I was just saying how Klitschko, Anthony Joshua, too, might be held in Vegas, or at least they're looking at Vegas venues to bid on it. Well, the promoter, one of the promoters of Jeff Horn, because obviously Bob Arum has got his claws into Jeff Horn now, Dean Lonergan, but anyway, he's looking at putting it in a smaller venue as well. If you recall, the outdoor arena that they were in seated almost 53,000, and they're looking at another arena, but this time an indoor arena that seats substantially less, more than less than 15,000. I think that the game plan here is pretty obvious. They're going for the pay-per-view buys, limit the, live opportunities and focus on pay-per-view, cash in more. Plus, like Floyd Mayweather's fights, he always goes to a small venue, but the ticket prices are much higher. So, they're looking at that end. But what I think they miss is the excitement value. I disagree with Bob Arum saying that all the Filipino fans for Manny Pacquiao were quiet when he landed punches, and all the Jeff Horn's fans were going crazy when he threw a punch. I don't know if I believe that, but the truth of the matter is there's nothing like watching a fight, let alone being at a fight where you have an audience, 50,000 people or 90,000 for the AJ Klitschko fight. I mean, come on, man. that has to add to it. And to tell you the truth, as a fighter, I would think that the fighters would rather be fighting in front of a huge vocal crowd as well. That's why the fights overseas in Europe are so much better, because they draw live audiences, whereas here in the United States, we're more inclined to, sit home and eat and drink on the couch while we watch a pay-per-view.
That's so true. And, they sold that fight with us, for free on ESPN. And, now we might be more likely to buy it and see it for a rematch. And I think as a business standpoint, it's a good strategy.
Yeah, well, I mean, you think what's a good strategy? That they have them in a smaller venue? I like the bigger venues because of the excitement
I like
value.
the bigger venues, and I like the live audience, yeah. But I mean, for them to look at all the variables going into this rematch, if they put it together, having a more of a likelihood of pay-per-view numbers, because they sold the excitement level on the first fight. Maybe some people would be willing to spend it on pay-per-view, and not having to count on the live gate as much for this, and keeping it at a happy medium. I mean, they should have at least 15, 25,000 people there.
Yeah, but 15, 20,000, even 25,000 is nowhere near 90,000 or 55.
No, it's not. But it would still raise the excitement level to a degree. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. It's not, I don't have anything to say and do about it. But I'm just giving a trade-off. If they're going to go to pay-per-view, they could cut the crowd in half a little bit, because they're not counting on the live gate as much. And, they're being approached from a business standpoint. That's all.
No, I totally get it. I mean, I'm just saying, once again, why does, out of all the sports, why does the boxing fan get fleeced the most? Think about it. The boxing fan is the only sports fan that has to pay for everything that's above and beyond. They don't get anything really for free. The free fights are usually not that great, although we are starting to buck that trend. We're forced to put things in like we're talking about now, in smaller venues, so it benefits the bottom line, and the fan loses the opportunity, if they wanted to go see live. Why is it that boxing fans get fleeced the most? And this sport, boxing, has the most issues. I don't understand it, and why they keep going back for more. I don't know.
Well, because we have in boxing, what makes it so unique is the idea it's a combat sport. You've got your favorite fighters that you're attracted to. You can live vicariously through, however you want to identify your connection with them, getting in the ring and putting it on the line against another opponent. And because of this not being set up in a stadium format or so, it's not like a league. It's not like a Giant Stadium, a Yankee Stadium, where they're going to have a subject to so many different variables for each fight to be in its own right unique.
Yeah, well, you know what? At the end of the...
That's it.
Right. Well, it's all about themselves. They're not thinking
about
the fans. Other sports have a tendency to put value in the fans, because after all, the fans are the ones paying.
Well, they are, and that's just it. And they know that the fans will keep coming back to the well, because that's what fans do. We love boxing.
Yeah, but here's the counterpoint. In other sports like football and baseball and basketball, you create lifelong fans. A kid is born and he becomes a fan because dad and mom or whatever are fans. And very rarely do they jump ship and become another fan. It happens, but very rarely. Boxing's not like that. We don't create lifelong fans anymore. Those lifelong fans are gone. And why should they be lifelong fans when the product is not what it used to be? So you rely on one or two fighters to pick up a fan base, and then hope that fan base stays with the sport after that fighter retires. That's why we lose the numbers, Sal. It's
true, Bill.
Come on.
It's a good analogy you made, and hopefully, what happens is we like I said, we have our favorite fighters that we seem to identify ourselves with, or we attach ourselves to. And, a fighter's career is just a few short years. And hopefully, when that one's going out, there's another one coming up that you could say, hey, I'll follow this guy. I'll follow that guy. It has to do with just the traditions and just, having fight fans attach themselves to significant fighters that they can continue to ride. It's jumping from one horse to another. But that keeps the boxing spirit, the boxing fan, alive into the game of boxing, because they keep finding the fighters that they can identify with, that they like, that they see them best suited for, and they want to root in. So it all starts from the fight base. We got to have the boxers. We have to have the fighters evolve and to be the superstars that will continue to keep the fans attracted to the game.
Yeah, well, hey, listen, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, Alex Perpali is going to join us. So you're going to still be here. We're going to keep you both together. So he wants to talk. He's got some opinions on the circus. So we're going to give him a chance to talk about that. So don't go nowhere. We'll be back in 2.
Billy C will be right back. Part of the Billy C Boxing Network.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks. Like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening and watching the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us. And speaking of being with us, he's chomping at the bit. Yesterday, we did our blast from the past with Floyd Patterson, that is. And we ran out of time. But Alex Perpali wanted so much to give his thoughts on what we're calling the circus of the century. Joining Sal and myself right now is the man, Alex Perpali. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Alex.
Gentlemen, it's great to be with you.
Well, good. Tell us, what's your thoughts on this fight, I guess, or circus, or Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor. I know Jeremy C is having some fun with it, and I think a lot of people are. I will admit, the press conferences are entertaining, probably 100 times more entertaining than the actual fight will be. But what's your take on all this?
I think you're absolutely right there. I think this is this week right here is what people should really enjoy because first of all, it's free. Second of all, it's going to be more entertaining and more competitive than the actual fight, and it's realer, if you will. I think there's a few things here. One, I want to talk about politics because you opened the door by you making the Trump comparison, and you know me, I definitely want to walk through it because I think I think this fight really is fake news, and I think that one of the things about the press conference is that's why they're so entertaining, is because they are spontaneous to some degree, even though it's set up. The thing about boxing that makes it worth watching and so different than wrestling is that it's the theater of the unexpected, as Larry Merchant calls it. It's unfolding in front of you. It's a competition. It's not scripted. That's why it's so wrong when we get decisions like we did in that Robert Easter Shavakov fight recently, where you had one judge that two judges rather, that might as well have filled it out before by giving every single round to Easter. It's like they didn't watch what was happening. The thing about this fight, all the sense of competition is removed from it, and the sense of unexpected is removed or reduced so small that it's not worth watching because it's going to be literally dominated. It is unfair, the advantage that Mayweather has. It's a money grab. As you say, Billy C., it's shim sham. It really is. They should enjoy the show this week with the press conferences because they are fun. But if you're going to put down money for this, I think you're going to be disappointed because he's going to beat the hell out of him. I really think that the idea that he won't knock him out, I think, is people are wrong-headed. When a guy is out of gas, he's real easy to knock out, and this guy is going to be painfully out of gas.
You're right, and that's what I've been saying all along. But I did talk to a MMA fan yesterday who knows a lot about Conor McGregor, has followed his whole career in MMA, and I said, well, what's the longest fight he's ever been in? And he told me 25 minutes, which was a 5-round, 5 minutes per round fight. And he went on to, this is an MMA fan, and this is who's going to be buying these fights, fellas, the MMA fans. And he's going, well, don't you realize that when you're in a wrestling type move, leg locked, and Alex, you and I called a fight one time. We remember the first time we have a takedown. These two guys are laying in front of us, locked together, and it was like we both looked at each other like, what do we say now? I mean, what are we exactly watching here? But the funny thing is he's telling me that it takes more energy to do that than it does to box. So. Maybe the assumption that McGregor's going to run out of gas is premature.
Yeah, it could be. It could be that it's a good. I really don't watch it, so I really have no frame of reference. And people, yes, sure. If you want to be critical of my opinion, you absolutely that's a legitimate criticism. I really have no frame of reference. I don't think it's really needed in this situation, in the sense that this is a guy who is being forced to comply for the rules of our sport. So the only things he's bringing in are what they call striking, punches. He doesn't know anywhere near the things that Floyd Mayweather does. To exist in the ring. That was one of the things that was sort of pathetic actually in the press conference, and where it was, like you said, I could make those political connections because Floyd's literally lying right there in front of our face. There was a point in the LA press conference where he said, I'll take him anywhere. I'll take him in the ring. I'll take him in the octagon. I'll take him with 8-ounce gloves. I'll take him with 4-ounce gloves. And Conor McGregor said, that's not true. And we all know it's not true. It's pretend. He's just saying he would do that. But we know that the rules are very, very hard and fast for this fight, and they completely are tilted in Mayweather's favor. It's sort of unfortunate in that sense. It's as much as the MMA fans are. I don't know. I mean, if you try to, there's so much outrage about this these days that it's funny when there's even outrage about the outrage. And you saw that when De La Hoya was talking about, he was really upset how this fight this event torpedoes the pay-per-view, the ability to pay for another pay-per-view in September, a legitimate one, and he aired that gripe session at one of the press conferences for his Canelo Triple G, and Lou DiBella really defended Mayweather-McGregor. And hey, if you want to see, but I think that's the thing about it, is that it's being paid for. The people that want to see it are McGregor fans, and I feel bad for them because they buy into this idea that he can knock Floyd out just by catching him magically. Floyd might look a little slower. His reflex might be a little dulled, but from what I saw Jim Lampley talk about McGregor's style, and I guess they did get some CompuBox numbers on a few of his MMA fights, and of course Jim Lampley loves that CompuBox, so he talks about them in the interview, and the rate that McGregor throws punches. In order to beat Floyd, you got to overwhelm that offense. You got to throw a lot of punches. You got to crowd him. You got to pressure him, like Maidana did, like Jose Luis Castillo did. That's not even McGregor's MO. Billy C. He's a counter puncher. He waits for guys. He fights like Floyd, except he's a southpaw. So this is going to be dull as hell. It's going to be two guys looking at each other and waiting for each other to make moves. McGregor will eventually have to take the initiative because, that's just in his nature. That's what his fans will be urging him to do. And he's just going to walk into punches. He'll knock himself out. Floyd's going to easily pummel him.
Sal, when we've talked about this, but the only chance that McGregor has is to run across that ring and show as much respect for Floyd as he's showing in these circus press conferences. Because if he does try to counterpunch or even show any kind of boxing ability, he's going to be made stupid. He needs to go in there and fight like a Marcos Maidana, just like Floyd is expecting. I mean, I don't think that McGregor is going to be able to bring in anything that Floyd isn't expecting. And that's, when you add that to the mix, and you add that to everything in Floyd's favor, and anybody that believes that Floyd would fight him in an octagon, fight him here, fight him, Floyd has made a whole career out of a smokescreen. People will believe that he's great, that he's the best ever, all this stuff. He's successful at creating smokescreens.
It's true, and we know this. And but like I said, the only chance, McGregor's got to make this a one-round fight if he's going to do anything. And we said he's going to have to wade through a barrage at the start of the bell. Boom, literally rush over. There's nothing in the boxing rules that said you can't do that. And use his hands, use his elbows, use what he's got to do to just keep Mayweather in the corner. Just pound on anything he can hit above the waist. That's it. That's the only way he's going to have a standing chance. Because I saw this guy over a month ago in the ring sparring with a sparring partner, nobody really well known, and the guy just kept tagging and popping his head with jabs and and hooks and everything else. It was a disgusting display. Whether that was something released purposely to get the excitement level or whatever else, I don't know. But McGregor looked like a lost fish in a big pond.
Well, let's just say this, Alex. The bottom line is that, what it appears to me, and I know you didn't watch the one from yesterday, and I saw clips of it, and Dax is going to go to the one in the city. But the truth of the matter is, and that's New York City for all you guys that when we refer to the city, it's
the city.
But anyway, the truth of the matter is that to me it seems this is all choreographed. They're each taking their turns. They're each bebopping around. This is so WWE. My man Coach in the chat room has mentioned that Floyd Mayweather's WWE for 2 years now. And it's so true. When you look at that bag, he conveniently leaves it right on the podium. If I had a bag with $20 in it, I probably would know where the hell it was at all times, let alone 5 Gs. It's all predetermined. It's all planned. For Conor McGregor to go over and start dissing the whole Mayweather family and all that. And the only thing that's missing is the hold me back, let me fight now. The only thing that's missing is Papa Mayweather diving and attacking Conor McGregor. If you notice, with all the insults being slung back and forth, there's a lot of smiles going on. It's all in fun for these guys. They're all laughing their way, just like Mayweather said, all the way to the bank. They're all making $100 million. And you know who's being made the fools of? Boys and girls? Us.
Is this a trick question?
The boxing fans. We're being made the fools because guys like me are talking about it today. Guys like you are commenting on it. Come on. They've won already.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think they did in a way, but I think the idea that you criticize it and raise legitimate gripes with it and put those ideas out there as well is the way to sort of fight against it. However, to what DeBella's point was in his rant against De La Hoya and any people who have the nerve to discount the fight. What do you care? It's interesting. It's one of those things where boxing wins because it'll bring new eyes to it. I'm not so sure about that. But again, I'm not against it. I'm just not interested. For me, it's not that surprising because I think it's very mainstream, and most mainstream things in the culture are garbage. They polish up a turd, and you're being sold a turd, and that's exactly what this fight is. I do think that McGregor, is a legitimate athlete. I don't mean to sell him short in that sense, but he's competing in a sport in which he never has against one of the very best of the last 25 years. And that's, it's just so arrogant to think that you could step across and do it, compete with the likes of a Floyd Mayweather. And not only that, but I think the idea that striking is the same thing as boxing, I just think that's wrongheaded. We've already seen what happens when boxing and MMA collide in a very good way, I think, in the sense of Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm. I think that's where the women are ahead of the men in a sense, because Holly Holm went into MMA and competed with those rules and destroyed Ronda Rousey, one of their who was, they thought unbeatable. It was their Mike Tyson. So I think to answer that bigger question, which I think is interesting, but I think if Conor McGregor was allowed to use MMA tactics, that would make this fight a little more interesting. I want to see it then. And I think Floyd could still beat him because I believe in my sport. But we're not going to see that. So that's to me why I'm not interested. But it doesn't surprise me that something that everybody's looking at is garbage, because I think we do that a lot in our culture.
First of all, Holly Holm went into MMA and competed for several fights before she got the big fight. So she kind of earned her spot. That's first of all. Second of all, if this fight was at all combined with boxing and MMA, Floyd wouldn't stand a chance. Floyd wouldn't stand a chance with any young gun fighter out there.
I think I still would put my money. I would still, because the thing about boxing is, in terms of distance, he's going to have to cross that distance to get to Floyd. And Floyd would be able to pick him off on his way in. Now, I don't know, once he grabbed hold of him, then, who knows what happens. But
it's
yeah,
over.
I think the fact that a boxer is so good with distance in any fight, I favor that. And reaction time.
Well, listen, my man John Carlo told me a long time ago that you put a guy in with mixed martial arts background in with a pure boxer, and the boxer will win every time. So you have a point there. But my point is that Floyd doesn't challenge himself and hasn't for a decade.
I agree.
And this fight,
that's the thing about this fight that's also pathetic, Billy C, is that you're absolutely right. It's a repetition, and it's the same guy who's pulling a shim sham, because I really feel like the fact that the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight stunk so bad was his fault, because he forced it to wait so long so that the bloom was off the fight. Then he fought a safety first way, and they made so much money off of us, and they're doing the same thing with this. And that, in the sense that it's not good for boxing at all, it's good for Floyd Mayweather.
Well, you know who the biggest black eye is in this whole event, aside from the fans that are actually thinking it's going to be a competitive fight, including Jeremy C., is the Nevada State Athletic Commission for letting it happen and count as a real fight. Sal, you and I have talked about this many times. We both agree that if this was an exhibition, neither one of us, and I don't think anybody, would have a problem with it. I really don't. And as a matter of fact, the money still would have been made. The pay-per-view still would have been done. They still could have had real fights on the card. The problem I have with this fight is simply the fact that it's counting as a real fight. That is just, you might as well just give them the W and call it a day. And by the way, I can't stand that the majority of the fans look at the 49-0 as if Mayweather is the very first guy to reach 49-0. And we all know that the significance of that was in the heavyweight division. We all know that there's been many fighters who have surpassed 49-0 and then subsequently have lost. We don't know if Floyd Mayweather is going to end his career after this 50th win. By the sounds of it, he's going to need to continue fighting to pay his IRS debts.
Yeah.
Well, he could pick up his 51st fighting Manny Pacquiao.
Or Jeff Horn. Maybe he'll go after Horn.
That would be the best thing about this, is that if it leads to Floyd saying, hey, I'm going to fight one more time, and I'm going to fight Keith Thurman, or I'm going to fight Errol Spence, that would be absolutely wonderful.
It would be, but it's not going to happen.
You're right. It's not going to happen.
No, I mean, I would love it to happen, because I think those guys are at the top of the charts right now in those divisions, and that division. Just like I always say, Alex, and you've heard me, because I keep drilling into Billy, and I know it's not going to happen, but I like to have fun with Billy. I would love to see Floyd Mayweather up in the ring with Triple G and Canelo Alvarez saying, I want the winner. That'll be a hell of a fight. And here's why I keep bringing it up, Bill, because if Floyd Mayweather is the elitist that we think he is, he's already beaten Canelo Alvarez, so he thinks he has his number. And he does have a style that he may be able to avoid and evade a lot of Triple G's onslaught. So, he may really feel in his heart of hearts he could beat both these fighters. I doubt he's ever going to rise to that occasion, though, and challenge himself, because that's been the whole problem.
If you listen to Floyd Mayweather, he criticizes other fighters for not fighting the big fights like him. He criticizes other fighters. He basically has a totally different, whether he believes it or not, he tries to sell a totally different image of himself and his career than what the facts suggest. He's a guy that says he's fought the best. He says he's the best ever. He says it even in this circus act. He's saying, I'm the best, 21 years, this and that. Number 48 was my biggest victory. He's referring to the Pacquiao fight, which was actually the biggest anticlimactic fight of his career. So I mean, come on. The guy has been able to twist it around. And the saddest part is that his most loyal fans are the dumbest, because they all buy into it. It's sad. It's sad. And then I get criticized for criticizing him. I mean, come on.
Well, I think that's the thing about it that is, that is frustrating, is that it does, especially to the boxing purist, or in some ways you don't really have to be a boxing purist. You just have to be somebody who really loves boxing above other sports. I guess in a way that is what a purist is. But I do think that there's a few things that are obscene, or a bit obscene here. One is that boxing is incredibly dangerous. They are sort of scoffing at that, in the sense that this guy is a sacrificial lamb. This is his pro debut, and he's going in there with one of the best fighters of a generation. That is something that Nevada should be embarrassed about, because that's potentially life-threatening. At the same time, it's so farcical, the fact that the idea that this guy has a chance, and the fact that Floyd might even just play with him like a mouse, like a cat toying with a mouse. That it'll be exceptionally nonviolent. But I don't think so. I think Floyd's going to put the screws to him, and that's he's going into this with just this blind. He thinks he's going to knock him out in 4 rounds. I mean, that's kind of comical. And the way that they are packaging it, they had in the LA press conference, at least. I guess they changed. I think it was Brian Custer at the Toronto one. I haven't watched that one yet. But at the LA press conference, it was Mauro Ranallo.
I told you never to mention. I told you never to mention his name on this show. Moreover, Ronaldo, that bum. He's fitting. He's fitting to be in that whole circus.
Absolutely, yeah, he was perfect for it. And I don't have anything against him personally. Hey, maybe he's a nice guy, whatever. But his style just is really grating. But they also have a guy, the MMA analyst they have, and I'm sorry I didn't get his name, but he is like a Kellyanne Conway of this fight, because no matter what reality says, he's acting as if McGregor has this very big chance. And I think that it's unfortunate, just because it does distract. If boxing is going to survive, it needs attention of casuals. So the idea that there's so many eyes going to this, when there might not be as many eyes going to our sport that is having a sensational year, that is a little frustrating. But again, it doesn't surprise me. Look at how well Adam Sandler movies do. Mainstream stuff is garbage. And this fight is about as mainstream as it gets.
Yeah, well, you know what? The funny thing is Showtime, they're trying to make it look like it's a real fight, only because they're the ones in a position to lose the most money because of the guaranteed monies that they've already given McGregor / UFC and Floyd Mayweather. So, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, I thought it was comical watching Paulie Malignaggi trying to give a technical explanation of what each fighter has to do to win. And I mean, the truth of the matter is it's pretty simple, really. I mean, to break it down from a technical aspect, it's pretty simple. Floyd Mayweather, he has to do what Floyd Mayweather does. He's going to have to, run and pick his shots and use the whole length of the ring, which is probably going to be about a 50-foot ring that he got put in. And he's going to wait until Conor McGregor is out of gas, and then he's going to go in for the kill. Conor McGregor, on the other hand, has to treat him with no respect and go in there and hope to pray that he lands a lucky punch, or even that maybe Floyd trips on his way out when the bell sounds and knocks himself out, because that's the only chance I think that McGregor has. Will I watch it? Yeah, because I'm going to be in St. Simon's doing our event, and I'll be watching it and praying with everyone else with our vigil that Conor lands the lucky shot.
Well, if he does, it's going to be within the first 3 rounds. If it's not, forget about it. It's over.
Yeah, I tell you, I'll be watching Cotto Kamagai that night. I'm looking forward to that. It could very well be the last time we see Miguel Cotto in the ring, and that's a pretty good matchup. But I do think that I am interested. I will watch the replay. I will be probably checking Twitter to see what happens. I don't think I'm going to risk going on the stream for it, though. I mean, I would never do that.
No, not illegally. But anyway, hey, Alex, I appreciate you stopping by and giving us your thoughts on the circus. But before we let you go, we do have, all kidding aside, we do have 3 really big fights to keep our eyes focused on. Of course, Triple G Canelo, Anthony Joshua, Vladimir Klitschko rematch, and of course the unification of the junior welterweight division between Terrence Crawford and Indongo. All 3 fights that really you could make a case that are all 50-50 fights. And, this is what boxing needs. We certainly don't need the Circus Act. And as much as, everyone has a right to make as much money as they possibly can whenever they want and however they want, make no mistake. And this is what I think bothers me the most. You hear we mention those 3 fights. Those are real fights. Those are actual boxing events. And when you look at McGregor-Mayweather, it's a circus, and yet, the nature of the beast of how we are in today's world, it's garnering more interest, and that's kind of sad.
It is, but hey, it happens. One thing that I am really looking forward to this weekend is not only the new Planet of the Apes movie, but the Joe Smith Jr. versus Sullivan Barrera fight. That is going to be really good Saturday night. It's amazing how good light heavyweights are these days, and that fight is going to be a good fight. And that whole card on HBO is going to be good.
Yeah, that card is pretty good. It's uncharacteristic of HBO to do a card with those level fighters, let alone a triple header. So maybe times are changing for this whole sport and the networks. Maybe.
Maybe.
All right, guys. Alex, we'll talk to you soon, my man.
All right, guys. Take care.
Take care, Alex.
Have a good day.
Always a pleasure, Alex. Thank you.
That's Alex Perpali, and he's given us his opinions on the circus that we so rightly called with the Mayweather-McGregor fight. So anyway, I'm trying to get my man. You're still on the line, right, Sal? I guess not. We will get Sal back here in a second. I thought we had him on the line, but now we got my man back on the line. But we're not going to take a break here, Sal. We're going to go straight through. Good thoughts. I wanted to give Alex a chance to give us his thoughts on the circus, man.
Well, he did a good job doing that, and I think he was right on track, right on line, and shares same ideas and belief of what we see. I mean, and I always say, if this was a reverse role, if Floyd Mayweather was going to step into the octagon or into the MMA arena, what do you think would happen? Exactly. He'd be destroyed. And so why do many people think that this is going to be any different coming into this world?
Well, the only difference between the two is, should Conor McGregor land that lucky shot,
yes,
he's going to be forever remembered, and the historical repercussions and historical aspect of it will be etched in stone. And Mayweather could have done the same. Mayweather could have put his place in history by being a guy that was as successful as he was in boxing and come on over to the MMA world and beat Conor McGregor at his own game. I mean, immortal in a sense. But Mayweather has chose, like he always does, to have everything in his favor. His argument, well, I'm the A side. People want to see me, so it's my baseball. I get to pitch, and people accept that now. This wouldn't have worked 20 years or more ago. Wouldn't have worked. The fan base wouldn't have accepted it. Today's fan base does, and hey, people are out to make money, so they're gonna push it as far as they can. Sal.
Absolutely. It's a business. It always has been, and that's what they're betting on right now. And this is going to generate a lot of dollars. You're going to have a lot of people. And like I said, you're going to see more MMA fans buy this up. And hopefully we're going to see a lot of boxing fans saving their money to buy what's going to be a real fight. And that's Triple G and Canelo Alvarez.
This is true. Hey, listen, everybody. Make sure that you stop by tomorrow, because Sal and I are going to be talking about all the fights that are on TV this weekend. There's certainly a lot of them, and we'll be giving you our thoughts and predictions on them. And we don't want you to miss it. So do yourselves a favor and make sure that you tune in tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, ciao, baby.